Today we've got Brandon from I Am Terrified. Super stoked to chat, Brandon. Last time it was maybe like 2 years ago now. We chatted about the Chariot. Obviously, chatted
Mhm.
more about that just because obviously Cullen and I are big Chariot fans. But obviously, at the time that we chatted, you were like, "Hey, like I Am Terrified stuff, like kind of coming back together. We're making some new music, and here we are now. You've got some new music out. You've got, I think, like last year you had a single out. You've got a new
Yep.
single out this year
Evolve,
that
yeah.
is one of my favorite songs of this year. Like
No,
I remember
thanks,
For
man.
when you
real.
guys initially released it, and I didn't hear it right away. Cullen texted me about it because he like jumped on it right away. Cullen texted me and was like, "Dude, this is like song of the year contender right here. This is so freaking good." So
Good. Hope so.
really stoked about the new music. So we'll chat about that. We'll talk about your guys' upcoming show at Furnace Fest. But before we get into all of that, how are you doing today, Brandon?
I am great. Fantastic.
You
Just being
you
a full-time dad over here.
just being a full-time dad. You're still like kind of like Florida area, right?
Yep, I'm in Florida. I am in Apalachicola, Florida now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If I remember right, last time we talked to you, were you living in a camper?
Yeah, I was at the time because
Yeah.
I was Airbnb-ing my house that I was in, that I lived in. We turned it into an Airbnb, and so I was going like my in-laws have a place on the island, and I was staying in their camper. While we Airbnb'd our house out. So I actually lived in that thing for like 6 months. My whole family, 4 of us.
Dude, that would have been so tight, so
It
cramped. I can't imagine.
was an experience that I don't want to do again. So,
So you're
yeah,
saying tiny house living is not for you and the Hendersons?
no, definitely not. I need my space. I need to be able to close the door, tell everyone to get out.
Yeah, you gotta like what is it like when you like guys like when they sit down and they've got to like spread like man spread or whatever?
Yeah,
Like you just gotta
yeah.
air out those balls.
Oh, yeah.
Like you need that kind
Got
of
to,
space,
man.
right?
I definitely do. And I mean, my whole family needs that. Like, both of my kids like to be alone
Everybody's gotta air out their
sometimes.
balls
It's
in
like,
the
yeah, we
Henderson
gotta
family.
yeah. Everyone. Big balls here.
You might even call it Harry and the Hendersons.
Hey, there
Hey,
you go.
all right. Uh, you know, I take you as a very relaxed, calm individual, and I can't imagine having like all these kids running around in such a small space. I mean, I'm sure you were really pushing the edge of your sanity.
Yeah. I can be deceiving. I mean, and for the most part, I am very chill and relaxed, but man, I can get there quick. Like I do have a temper problem.
Really?
It's not like a serial killer snap, is it?
Not like a serial killer snap. It's just like the stress levels get so high sometimes that I don't really let it out. Maybe that is the issue, but I don't let it out, but it's in me.
Were you able to like let it out more so in the Chariot shows when you were playing with the Chariot? Like, because I feel like that's the kind of show where it's like you've got like pent up energy. A Chariot show is gonna take that out of you.
That's yeah, that has happened at one Chariot show that I can think of. That did happen, but most of the time, we would have talks about that, and we didn't want anything to come off as frustration or anger. We just wanted to
Mm,
have fun. So we tried not to let that be what's making us go crazy, but it happens
right.
sometimes.
I I feel like I do remember at one moment at a show that Mason and I were at. First song, your shirt gets torn off, like literally ripped in
Yeah,
half. It was a Michael Jackson Thriller shirt, I think.
yeah.
And you had a face of legitimate anger, I think,
Yeah.
because you're like, dude, first song, really?
Sometimes it's anger, but
Wait till after the show, guys.
sometimes it's just adrenaline though.
Yeah, I suppose that
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
I don't want this to be like a whole Chariot thing, but a Chariot question does pop in my mind here where, Colin just
Of
mentioned a
course it
second
does.
ago, like you definitely have like total chill vibes. And pretty much all of the guys from the Chariot that we've ever interviewed, including yourself, like, I mean, you definitely seem like, good old country boy, like just, you'd love to like just sip on some like, sweet tea and just be chill. Stevis definitely has that energy too, I think. Certainly Wolf did. Like Wolf is like
Mm.
probably one of the most chill dudes ever. I would imagine maybe David is like that a little bit too. I'm just curious, but at like some point you'd think like somebody's balancing that chill energy out in the Chariot. Was it Josh that was a little bit more like hyperactive? of energy, or like who was kind of like balancing out some of that chillness? Because I can't imagine that entire band could just be like 5 chill dudes the entire time. Or maybe I'm wrong.
It kind of is. Like, it
Really?
kind of is really chill. I mean, we all have our moments of where we go insane. Like Wolf has that. He has his moments. Like, if we're staying at someone's
Like he
house
like
at
ran up like
night,
a
he will
mountain in
go crazy.
Montana, like off the side of the road one time. I think I saw like a
Yeah,
video of.
yeah, he does things like that quite often. He takes his own little adventures. I think that's how he gets everything out of his system. He'll go off on his own.
Yeah.
We won't see him for hours. Be like, oh, dude, load ins in like 30 minutes. Hope he's gonna make it. Like, things like that happen with
You
him.
know, that does make sense. That does make sense. Is that a similar dynamic with I Am Terrified?
I Am Terrified. No, not really.
What is the dynamic of I Am Terrified? I mean, how do you guys handle
We have
stuff?
been so me and Patty have been like best friends since, I don't know, 2009 or so. Wait, before that, like 2008. I joined the band in 2008, and we get pretty wild together, me and Patty. Like, we we've been in fights, like literal fist fights, and
Dang.
where were we at? I can't even remember where we are. It's like
I'm curious how your fist fights go down. Is there like hair pulling and stuff like that? Or
there should be, but we were at a pool hall, and maybe it was Baltimore. It's Baltimore, and it was
oh
pretty.
damn. This sounds like a 1980s like trucker
Dude,
movie
it
all of a
was
sudden.
a wild. It was somewhere we did
It's like
not
Smokey and the
belong,
Bandit
and we
coming
were the
on.
loudest people in the place. I mean, we got kicked out, but yeah. But yeah,
That's
I
fun.
would say, like, if I were a person about to get in a fight with Brandon Henderson, I would like maybe right before I'm about to throw my first punch, I would like have serious like a serious moment of contemplation of like, do I really want to mess up this guy's beautiful face?
you don't want to. No
And
one
you don't
wants
want like I would just feel so guilty if I like ever messed that up,
to.
and I'd be like, like the chariot in particular, like there's it's not like those guys, the rest of those guys are much of lookers, and so like I can't like just ruin the one pretty guy in the band's face.
Except for, dude, I don't know. Those are some good looking dudes.
Well, Steve, I guess
I think
Stevens
so.
really is like a true model at this point. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
great looking guy.
Wolf is so handsome,
Yeah.
especially when he's
Yeah,
shaved.
I'd say.
Dude, Wolf
Yeah,
is
you guys look pretty similar, not to lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Like if you were able to grow the
With his
beard
hair
that
short.
Wolf grew, like yeah, you guys kind of got total like similar look.
We've been told
You
that.
guys
We've
could
been
pass
asked
as
if we were
brothers for
brothers.
sure.
Yeah, we've been asked that a few
I can
times.
see that. I can see that.
But he
And you
is
guys have like similar southern
Mason and
accents
I
where it's not like super, super thick drawl, but like it's enough there where it's like, all right, you guys are from the South. And so I could totally see you guys passing as brothers.
yeah, well, we've claimed it before. Someone asked.
Love it.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, Mason and I, we were talking, I think just like, I don't know, probably like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, about how we can only stand each other before like we start like really kind of getting under each other's skin about 72 hours.
Hmm.
I can't imagine being in a band with somebody driving down the road constantly, trying to keep your own space and all that
Right.
stuff. Like I've always wondered what that life is really like and how people actually stay friends.
I mean, it's pretty easy. Like the Chariot, most of the time, we all had our own bunks and we would just do our own thing. We might listen to music, but usually someone's driving. The other guys are just sleeping, playing on their phone or
Sure.
something like that. So that was pretty easy. You get these spurts of like, all right, I got to have some entertainment now. Like when you're getting on like towards the 3 hours of a drive, it starts getting very boring. And that's when I start kind of losing my mind. And it's just like, all right, what can I do? What can I do? I'm like pooped in bags, in the van just to have something happening, just some kind of crazy.
Would you grenade those out the window at some unsuspecting family minivan?
Oh,
or
no. I just held on to him until we made a stop, which it forces you to make a stop.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, you'd be stopping real quick.
yeah. So that's kind of how
Yeah,
the Chariot was. I Am Terrified was Patty was always throwing matches at us, like lighting matches while you're driving. He's just throwing them at you. And
While you're driving,
Yes.
man.
Patty would lose his mind more than anyone. We
You
had a
know,
van and he like
with how
stabbed
with how
holes in
many
it.
vans getting like wrecks and stuff, I just can't imagine that's a great idea.
He was stabbing the dash of the van one time with his knife, just over and over and over and over. I'm like, dude, the airbag's gonna pop out and the knife is just gonna hit you in the face. But he does things like he's a wild person.
You know, one of these
This
things
is
you know,
wild.
talking about these vans, one of the things I was thinking of lately, just because when I was like driving within the last month, like one of those is it like a 16 passenger van? The
Yeah, 15.
15 passenger van. One of those drove by me, and I thought to myself, there was a time period of my life, like maybe a 6-year period, where I was in one of those things like almost weekly, it seemed like. And I have not been in one of those in like 15 years now or 14
Oh
years.
man.
Do you miss it? Do you miss
I
it?
kind of like it's so weird that like that was such a core part of my life for so long, or for for a good 6 years, and then I just have never have ever even come close to being in one of those vans since.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like the only things they're used for is churches
And
and
bands.
bands. Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
don't think
or or
I've
like,
seen one of those vans
Catholic
being used
families.
in
Yeah.
any other. Maybe like for airport shuttles, but
Yeah,
that's about
airport
it.
shuttles. There's some like carpet guys that'll tear the seats out and throw rolls of carpet in the back,
Yeah.
things like that. But yeah, usually when I see one, I'm like, is that a band in there? Yeah, I gotta check it out.
I do the exact same thing, especially if it's like a little bit of a beat up
Yeah.
van. If it's like pristine white, I'm like, oh, that's definitely like a shuttle, or that's
I know.
some delivery service. But if it's a little bit, not well taken care of, I'm like, oh, that's probably a
But that's
band.
Yeah,
like
and
I try to catch up to them, see what's going on.
that's like
and
the
the
best
like the
sleep I
white
ever got
ones.
though.
And the white ones are like,
Yeah.
very clearly like either this is like a church or a band that's in it. I will say,
Mhm.
so a couple months ago, I was hanging out with Garrett from Silent Planet, and he just bought one, and it was like probably from the 80s, and it was like one that was old enough where it had like the curtains in the back for over
Oh,
the
I
windows,
love
and I'm like,
those. Yeah.
this is like borderline like kind of one of those like creepy pervert ones, and not like a cool band one or a church van one or whatever. Like it definitely had way more of a creeper vibe than it did a band vibe.
Oh yeah. So he bought it for himself, not for the band.
No, he bought it for like to use it for the band, but he got like a really cheap deal on it because it's so old. He got like a really cheap deal on it.
Was it a
Like,
15 passenger or was it just like the old
no, it was a
conversion
15
van?
passenger one, yeah.
Oh.
But it was like from I mean, it is old.
Wow.
It was like from the 80s or like maybe
I've actually
even
been looking
late
into
70s.
getting one of those conversion vans. That has the curtains, that has
Dude,
the little TV
They're
up here.
luxurious from what I hear.
Yeah, they're
Put a
great.
little hot tub in the back.
Oh, that would be so
Put a mirror on the roof
Yeah, absolutely.
for those long drives at
Yeah,
night
talk to yourself.
with the boys.
All right, well, let's talk about I Am Terrified music. So again, obviously you guys had the single out last year. New single again. It's just killer. I mean, there's
For
parts of
real.
it where it's like,
Holy
this is
bucket.
so chaotic. Like I would have never expected this from I Am Terrified. So yeah, just talk about like some of the couple new songs and like, what was the writing process like for this? Were you guys trying to do something way different? Like, I'm just really curious about some of the ideas that you've had around these new songs.
Yeah, I mean, we're always trying to do something different. Like, I think the last time we talked, which this is still the case, we have so many songs written, and we have a lot of songs they're pretty much done, like that we're just holding
Damn.
on to because we released Evolve, and they were like, well, these other songs don't really seem to fit. Then when we released Bone to Pick, these other songs still don't seem to fit. Like the other ones we're working on right now that are almost done are just so much heavier than all. Like there's probably about 10 songs that are finished that just doesn't
Yeah.
fit with these songs that we have right now. And we're just kind of on this train. We're like, let's just write it, man. Because every time we get together, we write a new one, and it just happens. And we're not going to get off this train until we're like, all right, let's take a turn this way, you know. But
Yeah.
the process is kind of the same. I always start with a riff. I have the bones of a song done, just put together, and then everybody just chimes in, and when we meet up, which is rare because we're all in different places, we
Sure.
meet up, and that's when everything really comes together out of nowhere. Like,
So are you usually the instigator of the song, like where you are the kind of the first spark or the first idea, and then it just evolves from there? Or
yeah, that's how it's been on these last few songs. Patty does sort of the same thing as well. He'll sit at home and write riffs, come up with the riffs, and then pass it along. Um, I like I like to get in my head about songs though. I like to sit with them for a long time, and I usually don't send anything out until I'm like, this can be a full song. We just have to,
sure.
you know, get it composed.
Yeah. I I am thoroughly impressed with both Evolve and Bone to Pick. Um, and I cannot wait to see where else you guys go with this stuff. Because I mean, especially Bone to Pick, man, it felt like it scratched something in my brain that I didn't know I needed scratched. Like, you know that
Mm.
feeling? Like where all of a sudden, like something just lands in your lap and you're like, this is exactly what I've just been needing this. I've listened to the song no less than 250 times.
Good.
I'm not
So
joking.
you're the
Like,
guy.
yeah, I am the guy. I am the guy. No,
No,
He's
it
made you
is
all
cool.
of
I'm
10
just I'm
cents.
just impressed by it.
Yeah, I know, man.
That's
That's
right.
ridiculous. But it is pretty cool. It's like that song was originally supposed to be just a short song, minute 30 seconds, in and out, just heavy blaster. And it never fails once I get the song to Patty. I don't know, man. He has a way of doing choruses. Like he knows exactly what he wants to hear on choruses. He if even if it's a song I'm like, I don't want to have a chorus on this song, it's gonna have a chorus. Like Patty's gonna be like, oh nope. And then it's like, oh well, we got another full song again. Yeah, I keep trying to do these little short songs. I'm like, come on, man, let's just do 1 minute in and out. And it always turns into a full blown thing, which ends up better. I mean, it's better in the long
Yeah.
run. But
It's a journey,
yeah.
man.
But he is really good at that side of things. He can pull the melody out of like into songs that weren't there before. And that's where that magic comes from. It's him.
Yeah.
Well, when I
Do
saw
you ever
that you
lend
guys go ahead, Colin.
go ahead. Go ahead.
When I saw you guys had a song called Evolve, I was like, for a second, I was like, you guys gonna have a song called The City and a song
Oh.
called Forget, and maybe have a song
Or
called Back to
Teach.
Back or something. Like I was just like, is that the route we're going on here?
That is
Dude,
actually my first thought
I
too
did
when I
not
first
even
saw
think
that
about
last
that.
year.
That's the first
Wouldn't that
time
be a
anyone has
hilarious
said something.
joke? Wouldn't that be like a hilarious joke if you just like all of the new songs are just like Chariot songs
It would
or like
be.
the
That
titles of
would be
Chariot
pretty
songs?
funny.
It would be.
That would be
Or
you've
or
got to
just
do
the
something
opposite.
like that. Would be hilarious.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Or like plays off of them.
Yeah.
So like instead of teach, you'd say like teacher.
Yeah.
Instead of the city, it'd be the town.
The town. And it wouldn't be what song? It would just be like just slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
instead of
Just
going up,
totally rip it off though.
descends.
Speaking of the city, I don't know if you saw this, Brandon, but Scoggins going to be around at Furnace Fest playing
I know.
68. Last time 68 played, so 2 years ago, 68 played the city,
Mhm.
and Cullen and I stage dove to that. It was really fun. I mean, I don't know if you've been talking with Scoggin or not, but I'm sure you guys are going to maybe, try to say hi and hang out. But it'd be cool if we can get like maybe a little, I mean, we've got you playing. We've got
Yep.
Scoggin playing. I don't know if there's any other like former Chariot guys going to be
There
playing
is.
at Furnace Fest. Who
Not at-
else?
Keller, the Glass Ocean, they're going to be playing
Oh,
one
really?
of
Oh,
the
okay.
pre-shows.
So, I mean, maybe we could get like a mini Chariot reunion for a second at Furnace Fest. That'd be kind of fun, right?
I would be down, dude. I would do it.
Sounds like Scoggins
Or
been
even
turning
like
down
a-
offers, but like, if y'all are in the
Yeah.
same place already, might as well just do something, right?
I mean, I would just do it for free. Just to do it. It'd be
Hell
fun.
yeah. Dude, that'd be incredible. In the parking lot next door at the brewery.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Chariot thing to do.
It would be fun. I'd be down. I haven't talked to Scoggin about it yet, but I did know that they were going to be there. I found out like a few months ago, and I was just like, "Oh, I can't wait for
Nice.
this to drop because here comes the conspiracies again."
Well,
They're doing
my like, I
yeah.
mean, I don't have any chariot conspiracies, but like last time when 68 was there, so Scoggin played a set. Right after that was when Norma Jean played. So I thought maybe because like Scoggin's already warmed up, maybe he would play Memphis with Norma Jean. That didn't end up happening. I was a little disappointed, but maybe this time we could maybe see a little Memphis and
Never know,
Scoggin.
man.
I mean, obviously, I mean, I know you're not supposed to be like a Scoggin insider, but I feel like if anybody that we talk to is going to be a Scoggin insider, you would be the one.
I am not because I don't know. I never know what that guy's going to do. Like when we were on the
I don't
road
think
with
he
Norma
knows
Jean,
either
you know,
sometimes.
he would do that part with them, but then I don't know. He might be getting coffee one night, so he's just not there right now. So it didn't happen.
Sure.
You know,
Makes sense. Are you excited to play Furnace Fest?
dude, I'm so excited. I'm very.
Yeah.
Wait, have you
I'm
been
just
there
Have you
before?
have you been?
I've not been. I have been, but not to the fest. I've been to Sloss.
So you've been to Sloss, but you haven't been to the
Have
festival.
not been to the festival. You know, the first year we played that after show as well. It was us
Yeah.
and Gideon, My Children, My Bride. We played that, and I had every intention on going to the fest, but it just didn't happen. You know, you get to your own show, and it's just like, oh, I'm here.
Yeah. No, that makes total
Are you
sense.
planning on like
But
actually hanging out at the festival this year?
I'm planning on it. I mean, I hope that happens. But well, the day before, we're playing with Norma Jean on October 4th, and then our Birmingham shows on the 5th.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I won't be there on the 4th, obviously.
Sure.
But I'm hoping to stay around for the last day. I'm hoping to get there all day Saturday and hang around Sunday. That's my plan.
Hell yeah.
Well, if we see you, I mean, obviously we'll want to go to the show, but we'll, hang out at the show. But if we see you just hanging out at the festival, obviously we want to give you a big hug. I mean, it'd be really cool to see
Absolutely,
you.
man. For sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Are there other buddies that you're maybe excited to see? Either watch them play or just to hang and shoot the shit? Or
Yeah. There's too many. You know, I mean, of
well,
course.
yeah, you don't want to leave anyone out either. Right?
Yeah. I mean, all the Norman Jean, everyone on the show that we're on is just cool. I haven't seen them Ping Doom guys in so long. So I'm stoked to
Hell
see
yeah.
them. Who else is War of Ages? Hadn't seen those guys in forever. I mean, I haven't seen them in probably like 20 years, I would say.
Wow.
Well,
Damn.
close to it. Yeah.
Are there,
is nuts.
if you were around like at the festival on Saturday and Sunday, like, are there bands that you would like for sure just like want to see, whether you know them or not, but like just you want to see because you love that band? Like, what would those bands be?
I don't think I'm going to be able to see Seosin, but I really want to see Seosin. I really want to
Have
see.
you gotten the schedule of when
No,
everyone's
I
playing?
have no idea.
No. Interesting.
they-
So they don't give that out even to the bands yet, huh?
I don't know. I just don't have it. Maybe everyone else does, but I don't know. I don't know. I
You just
kinda
show up when you're
up.
supposed to show up.
Yeah, I'm just there.
Yeah.
I don't even.
I'm trying to figure out who's going to conflict with my schedule because there's always going to be two bands that you're dying to see playing at the same time.
Well, I've seen Coheed
Trent.
before, so I'm not worried about seeing Coheed. Not the biggest.
You might
fan.
be the only person saying I'm not worried about seeing Coheed.
I don't know, man. I hope not, because I think if everyone stays to see them, they're gonna miss us. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Let's see. I can't even remember who else is playing Saturday, to be honest.
Yeah. Who else is? Mason.
I have no idea what I'm just, I just know like pretty
see if
much
I can
every
pull it up.
band I want to see.
I was just bummed that I didn't see Blindside that year.
Dude, that was incredible.
Yeah,
Wait,
I was
what day
bummed
are they
about that.
playing this year?
Sunday.
They're playing Sunday.
Okay,
I
well,
believe.
you got to.
I believe it's
stay for
Sunday.
Sunday. And
Yeah.
Extol's playing again now this year. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
That
I
was just
saw that.
announced.
Yeah, I did see that.
That I'm stoked on.
Yeah, Blindsided. That was one of the top 5 bands I should have named last time. Last time
Yeah,
that was
man.
on.
What's your
So,
favorite album of
I
theirs?
think
About a Burning Fire.
Of course. I mean, that's probably
Nice.
my favorite as well. Although
Mhm.
I'm a huge here's what I actually think I like The Great Depression more than Silence, even though obviously like Silence is probably their most famous one. But
Mhm.
I think I like Great Depression more than Silence. But yeah, definitely About a Burning Fire is probably my favorite.
Yeah, Great Depression, it's a really great album. I don't think I gave it enough listens when it first came out, just because it was so different from what,
It definitely has
About
more
a
of
Burning
this
Fire.
like raw bluesy vibe more so than like
Yeah.
their more kind of new metal alternative metal vibe that they had obviously previously with those other first two albums.
Yeah.
Mhm. But it's so good.
Yeah, Blindside's playing Sunday for sure.
Nice.
Let's see here.
Cullen, you got really dark
Same
too, by the way.
day. I just got really dark.
Yeah, you look dark. There you go.
just tanned.
Oh, it's probably from my computer screen. You know, I do appreciate that you like Blindside so much because I've always said that not Christian Link song, Simon Grenehag, their guitarist, I think is, in my opinion, the greatest riff writer in the entire scene.
Oh yeah, he's
Like in
incredible.
the entire alternative scene. Every single song it's not always the most flashy or most like intricate or anything like that. And it doesn't need to be. It's so musically brilliant for the song.
Yeah, he holds the one guitar down very, very well.
So
It's
well.
almost unbelievable that they're able to get that sound out of four guys, and only three of them are actually playing instruments. I mean, they
I
just
know.
are able to create so much sound out of
Mhm.
three instruments.
Well, Christian was one of the people that I don't think I've said hello to, but I've been so starstruck around that.
I was the same way, man. And
Mhm.
I'm not a star by any means, but like as soon as I saw him, I was like, I had like the tight chest and everything. Like I don't really get that much anymore when I'm talking to some of my heroes and my musical heroes especially. But when I saw Christian, I said hello and everything. I felt like a bumbling idiot.
Mhm.
I mean, I just had nothing
I
Did
am
you feel like
nothing to
a
give there.
what would be the Swifty equivalent of a Christian Linkskog? A Linksky?
What do you mean?
I'm
The
a
equivalent?
Skaggy.
Yeah, how would you even say that?
Yeah,
It's got to be a Skaggy, right? I'm a Skaggy, bro.
but that well, you
I'm a
could be a
Christian.
Skoggy as
I'm a
like
Christian.
a Josh Goggin.
I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
MSC. I am a CH.
No, I Am Terrified played their, I think it was like one of their first shows back, like when they had split up a long time ago. This was in this
hell
might have been
yeah.
09, 2009.
09, they came back for
Yeah, it was
brief
like
moment.
well,
Yeah.
they played 2011 in America because Cullen and
Yeah.
I saw them in 2011 at Life Flight Fest. Maybe around no, you guys would have been broken
Yeah, it was
up
in
for that.
09 because I was in I Am Terrified, and we played with them in New Mexico at some festival.
I think 09 is when the Black Rose EP came out, and they were doing some stuff with that,
Yeah.
and then they came out with their
Hearts.
final album.
It was
Yeah, with Shivering
just
Hearts.
us and them on the show that day. It was just a 2-band thing. It was an amusement park that we were playing. And they
Oh,
were like,
sick.
dude, Christian, like, hey man, nice to see you. And just keep going.
So
keep
it was
going.
just you guys, and you guys didn't talk
Dude,
more?
no, I was so nervous. I couldn't do it. And when the Chariot was in Sweden, he came out to the shows and was just hanging in the green room. I didn't say a single word to him. I still couldn't do it, man.
Do you normally get like
You
that
should've just-
around? I mean, like I can
No.
imagine like you probably in your touring days, especially like you're probably meeting a lot of people that were musical heroes of yours. Did you ever get that way around other people like that, or was it just Christian like that you just got
Metallica.
kind of starstruck?
I could see Metallica. That makes
It
sense.
was Christian and Metallica. That's
When
about
did
it.
you like have the chance to meet Metallica?
When we did that Soundwave Fest in Australia?
Was that when they were playing with Gojira?
No. They were the headliner on Soundwave. I think it was 2012. maybe 2011. But they were the headliner, and they hosted a barbecue the first night. Like they bought all the
For
food.
all the bands?
Yeah, for every band. They
Wow.
hosted. They were just hanging out with everyone. I mean, they were so cool, but still didn't meet them. Didn't talk to them.
Did you wear your Napster T-shirt?
Yeah. It's funny. Do you know the dudes in This Is Hell? Do you remember that band?
I know the band. I don't know
Yeah,
the
they
dudes.
they were on that fest too, and I just remember hanging out with them, like hanging out with their singer, guitarist, and we're talking. We're like, dude, go talk to him. No, man, you go talk to him. Like no one did.
It's like imagine throwing a party with all these bands, and you're like, hey, come on, we're
I
gonna talk,
know.
let's hang, and you just end up hanging out by
Yeah.
yourself as Metallica because everyone's terrified of coming
Yep.
over to talk to you.
I saw a few brave souls walk up to him, and shake hands, and I was just like, I'm not doing it. I'll make a fool of myself not doing it.
You're like,
and we had to
"Alright,
play
so
at
if
the
you-
same
if-
time
if-
as them every single night. That was a shame.
Oh man, that's rough. That's rough. If you were to go hang out with one of them, which one would you hang out with?
I don't know if it'd be by choice, but it would be Lars, because I saw him hanging out at sideshows. Like we had all these little sideshows throughout the week, and he would just come in and hang out. He was really cool.
Dude, that guy is a heavy music fan.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what it is. He's on top of it. It's impressive. I've seen some interviews with him, and he's naming off bands I listen to in the kind of like the underground alternative world.
Man,
And I'm like, how in the world are you this connected, this like plugged in?
he was just hanging out with everyone. Like he was just front row, like in the crowd, just watching every band. I was like, man, it's so cool.
That is sick.
Yeah, I would have I often have thought about this where, it's like some of these really kind of more popular bands that maybe we've interviewed them before or like we just know of them, but then they'll name drop a band that's way more underground that we everybody else listens to. And you just would assume that this more popular band just couldn't possibly listen to because they're this band is so underground or whatever. But I still remember the drummer for Thrice a couple years ago. He did a top 5 album list of that year, and it was a band from one of the bands was a band that's one of my favorite bands called A Hope for Home, and they were on Face Down, and they had just released this 4-song EP, it was their first music in 11 or 12 years. And it was here's the guy from Thrice that, likes this band that might have 500 monthly listeners on Spotify, right? Just a tiny band. And it, it's things like that where it's oh my God, some of these people actually really listen to, or, I don't know if you've ever seen
my favorite one is this one, Mason, is
Billie Eilish listening to
Billie
Knock
Eilish-
Loose or something.
Right.
it was It Dies Today.
Was that Billie Eilish that did that one?
Yeah, Billie Eilish she posted about It Dies Today. She's like, I love this band.
Whoa.
And they're like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from?
She loved this band from years ago or today?
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
that's a good
she
question.
still likes them regardless, clearly.
Yeah,
I think she posted an
Instagram
Instagram story with them tagged or whatever, or she would how Instagram you can put the song that you can actually have the song in the story or whatever. He did something like that, and so you just see this screenshot of this story, and then there's It Dies Today being played or whatever. It's oh my God.
Oh, that rules.
Yeah, they thought they were getting punked.
Yeah, dude.
Or Demi Lovato has what was the band that they were listening to?
She's a big Knock Loose fan, or not Knock Loose. Holy buckets, my brain just.
But it's a heavy band that you're oh my God,
down.
Demi Lovato listens to that band. But there, I mean, it's just funny when there's super popular people that listen to what we would consider extremely less popular bands or artists than what that artist would be in comparison.
It's it would be like Paramore now. People that just now know about Paramore would be oh, Haley liked the Chariot. What? That wouldn't make sense to people now.
Did you ever get to meet her?
For real?
Yeah, they were on that fest too.
So did you get starstruck around her?
No, I didn't.
What? I would be the most. I would literally be an awkward 6th grader trying to ask a girl out to the dance. I would be so weird. And I feel like I'm pretty like chill
Yeah.
around pretty much anyone, but Haley Williams, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Mostly because I'm like also very
her-
attracted to her, and like I feel like
Oh, yeah.
any person that I'm attracted to, I'm like, oh boy, I'm about to fumble
And you
my
saw
words.
those pictures back in 2006. That's what
Oh,
did
yeah.
you in.
Well, it was her and their guitarist Taylor. They just came over. Me and Josh was just eating lunch one day, and they just came over and sat down. I was like, "Oh, hey guys, what's up?" So we just had some lunch with them for a minute, and then Taylor, he's such a nice guy. We ended up hanging out a bunch, like at the after parties and stuff. Me and him would just go out. I never hung out with Haley again, but I did hang out with Taylor quite a bit. And
I've heard he
they were
really
just so
sucks
cool.
at fantasy football.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we when we interviewed Mike from Me Without You, he's in a fantasy football league with Taylor, and he said he's usually the worst.
Oh man,
Just gets
throwing him under the
shellacked.
bus like that.
Yeah,
He's a nice
So,
guy though.
it's a low blow.
I mean, I think probably I think to be good at fantasy football, like generally, you're probably like not a good person.
Yeah, probably so.
And
I mean, I wouldn't be
like,
good
and
at
if you're a good person, you're probably not good at fantasy football.
True. I back that.
I guess I'm a good person.
Well, it helps when you're also a Vikings fan, and like your team sucks.
Yeah, that's the that's where you lose it. So I'm curious. You said you have all these songs ready to go for "I'm Terrified."
Yep.
You got new music kind of coming out, trickling out at least at this moment. Where do you take it from here then? You're saying that some of the songs aren't really fitting together with what you've already released as singles or as one-offs or whatever they happen to be for
Mm-hmm.
Bone to Pick and Evolve. Where do you go from here?
That's
What can fans expect?
I would just keep expecting heavy, fast stuff. That's what I
Hell
would say.
yeah.
Because that's why we haven't released all that stuff, and that's also what's takes us so long because we have all these other songs, but we put them on the back burner, so it's all just new music that we're writing that everyone keeps hearing.
Sure.
So, people will hear this other stuff one day when it's the right time, but it's just not the right time.
Oh yeah.
Which
Are you going to use Furnace Fest as kind of a springboard for that? Or
no, probably not.
what are you thinking there?
No,
Probably not.
no.
So it's not going to be expedited quite that much is what you're saying.
Right. Now
Gotcha.
we'll be playing a new song at that show. Another new one.
No, a new song.
Unreleased song.
One that has been
Can we
Yeah.
expect Bone to
Nice.
Pick?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Dude, we're trying
not missing
to
We can't miss
as much
it,
as some people hate it, we're just trying to not play any old stuff at all. I don't want to play any old stuff. We're just trying to get away from it.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks for some people. They're like, I want to hear, they want to hear things before the band was called I Am Terrified. It used to be called Fix Till Tuesday, and people bring up songs from back then. I'm like, dude, those songs are so old. We want to get away from it. Like,
Why do you want to get away from it so bad? Like, is it just because you're like, hey, that's just like a different time, or what's the reason?
yeah, I don't want to just hold on to the nostalgia of things. I want to just
Yeah.
appreciate the new. Like,
I
we
like
like
that.
the new a lot better. I mean, it's like any
Yeah.
band
I mean,
that releases a new album. They tour on the new album and they play, a few old stuff
Sure.
here and there. But we're trying not to go that old because technically that was a different band. Even in 2008, that was a different band. It was a different
Right.
title.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
I'm so glad to hear that. I like the old stuff. I mean, I've listened to it a bunch, but this is just vastly better what I've heard so
thank
far.
you. I think so too.
And I wish that more artists were willing to say that too, because a lot of times the new stuff just is better.
Yeah.
And they're like, they'll often say like, "Oh, this is the best thing we've ever made," and it's like, okay, do you really believe that though?
Right.
A lot of times I don't think they do.
Yeah.
They're just saying that because they want you to go out and buy the record. But this is vastly better. It's just so good. I'm having so much fun with it.
You're going to like this new one a lot.
I just need more. It's like heroin right now, and you're like keeping me from my
Heroin.
needle right now.
I don't
Good
know if I
God.
would go that far, but
yeah, you're gonna make me have to edit
I'm-
this podcast. We're gonna get demonetized.
When I
yeah.
when I said that it scratched an itch that I just haven't I didn't even know I needed scratching.
What
That's
was
what I'm
the
talking
itch?
about. Like
What part of the song in particular?
Oh, I thought you were about to
the
ask
way it kicks.
what part of his body was getting
Yeah, where
itched.
was that itch at?
Right inside. No, it it the very beginning, the way it kicks off, that guitar tone, that tempo, that just like evil overlording kind of sound coming of out of the speakers, that draws me in. And then that big hooky chorus, and then just like an out of nowhere bridge that goes in a completely different direction. I'm just all about it, man.
Yeah,
All
me too.
about it. Yeah.
What
Yeah, I
from
love it.
Brandon
It's so
for
much fun.
you, like as a guitarist, like how much do you think being in the chariot maybe like influenced the sound that we're hearing from I Am Terrified now? Like what was that something like just being in the chariot maybe kind of was like, oh, like what if like brought like um some of that sound that I created in the chariot, like what if I brought a little bit of that like version of it to I Am Terrified? Like was that something that you like thought about or were conscious of? Because to me, like it does feel like, okay, there's definitely obviously like the total like classic I Am Terrified sound, but it does kind of like got a little bit more of this closer to a chariot vibe than we've heard in past I Am Terrified music.
Yeah, it does on certain parts. Like before that song goes into the bridge, it does all those dissonance.
Yeah.
Some of that kind of stuff does play into it, but it also goes back to like the old Norma Jean stuff, like the things I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up listening to
Yeah.
old Norma Jean, and
I I think the guitar tone really, reminded me of, Oh God, The Aftermath kind of, a guitar tone.
well, that's one of my
I was really
favorite
picking up
albums.
on that. Yeah, like the song Scientification, specifically for some reason is coming to my head. It's kinda got those strange dissonant chords, very low end, but also got some high parts. I don't know enough about guitar to, like, be able to, like, describe it very well, but yeah, that where it sounds like the chord's fighting with itself. It makes me so happy.
I think like that beginning riff came from, I'm trying to think of the band, but it was, I had an old Hellfest DVD growing up, and I can't remember. It was like the title screen, whatever riff that was that played. Who was it? I cannot remember. I want to say Bleeding Through, but I don't think it was Bleeding Through. But
I can see it
it
being
might have
bleeding
been.
through.
I can't remember at this point. But I just remember that riff, and I love those, just that chugginess of that, and that I literally, when I was writing that riff, I was like, I want to write something like that, that has that
Yeah.
feel, and that's where that came from. I don't know, year 2000, yeah,
Yeah,
somewhere.
but it feels fresh though, man. I'm all about it. I'm all
Yeah,
about
the
it.
production value of it. I mean, I don't know where you guys are recording and all of that, but the production of it just found and it like it doesn't feel overproduced at all. Like I mean, obviously it clearly sounds
Right.
like real guitar riffs. But it's also like, I mean, it's clean as well. Like I mean, you're
Yeah,
obviously a great guitarist, so it sounds clean, so it doesn't sound like some like garbage like 80s black metal recording or whatever. But it also doesn't feel like way over like fabricated and overproduced. Like it's like right in that like great kind of sweet spot.
Sweet spot.
yeah, we do
Yeah.
all the recording ourselves. We do all that ourselves, and then I try to edit as much as I can to make it clean for Ryan. He's the one who we send it off to for mixing and mastering.
Sure.
Y'all know Ryan Littrue? He was
The name sounds
He was the
familiar.
40 Day guitar player.
Okay.
He does all the
Yeah.
Silent Planet stuff, records,
Okay.
and Gideon and all that. But he's who we're using for that. So we try to give him a pretty good version
Yeah.
when he first gets it. But he just puts magic on it. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I want him to show me how he does it, but I wouldn't show anyone how I do it, if I'm a
You
producer.
can't
the
show
magic
people
wand
how the
fairy
sausage
dust?
Oh,
Oh,
is made, right?
Right. Exactly. But I just wish I would just
love
want to watch him so close one day. I was like, how are you doing that? Because some of it I didn't even
I dig it.
understand. Like, some things he did to the song, I was like, they're so subtle, and I wouldn't even notice it until he said something to me, and he would turn certain things on and off. I'd be like, oh, wow, that did make a difference. Like, not even that something that even is needed for the song. It just enhanced it.
Right.
I was like, how did you do that?
So like when you say it needed, like, is it what give us an example. Like, what did it do to the song
He
that
made
helped?
the bass just beefier. I don't even know what he did.
Okay. So fills out the low end
Yeah,
somehow?
not sure what he did, because what we're doing, so we're tracking everything here, and I'm sending him just our raw files. He has nothing on it. Like
Sure.
I send him my guitar, like through my amp guitar, and I also send him dry track guitar. So it's just ching, 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 just clean, you know. And
Yeah.
he reamps it like you would in a studio. He'll run it through like the Mesa, all kinds of different heads and amps. So, and then
So you can do it that way? Can you go direct line in, uh, record there, and then send it through the Mesa there?
yeah,
Is that how that would
yeah,
work? Interesting. I didn't know that was even the way that was done.
yeah.
Is that
It's a
usually how that's
thing
done, or
now.
is
Well, just
it
because
usually
we're
done
in all
through
different states, that's how we're doing it. Yeah.
Sure.
And it's
So, but is that, like, kinda like the standard? Is because I just imagine that people would just send it through, like, an Axe FX kind of situation on their
Well,
computer.
I do that too. I have
Yeah.
my pedal down here that I play through. So I send him the wet file and the dry file. So I think he blends them.
Gotcha.
He'll blend my signal with a little bit of his like reamped stuff.
Gotcha. Interesting. Is there a tone, because I am really impressed by your tone. Is there a tone that you kinda go for? Maybe like an inspiration of someone's guitar, or is it just something that you've, like, found that you, like, really like the way it comes through, the way you play it?
I like mids. I like a lot of mids.
Sure.
I don't like scoopy guitars. I like the clarity. I like to be able to hear notes really well. So I look for a
Yeah.
good bassy chug with some good mids so that you can have clarity in notes. That's what I'm looking for.
Hell yeah. I
And I
dig that.
tweak it all the time. Like I got so many like
Do you
presets saved on my pedal. I'm always like adjusting and tweaking. Save it, tweak it, save it. Yeah. It's changing all the time. But
I love it. Do you feel like you ever lose anything on the high end when you're maybe noodling around a little bit more?
mm, I don't think so.
No.
Sometimes maybe.
Good deal.
Sometimes I might lose something and save it and be like, I'm never getting that back. I've done that too. Like, well,
that's gotta be the worst. You're just like,
yeah. Actually, I did
I
that
can
on
imagine so.
Evolve. Like I was tweaking my sound a lot when we were doing Evolve, and I had to retrack the whole thing because I had a whole nother sound and I couldn't get my other sound back. I didn't mean to do that. I just
Yeah.
overwritten that preset and I was like, God, I
Oh,
lost it.
no.
But oh well.
So you don't, like, also have a paper copy of you don't, like, write down, like, where you're at
I'm
on the
not
pedal
very
or anything, huh?
organized in that way. I should be more organized in that way, but I'm not. I don't have like a backup or anything. It's just,
Oh,
you know,
damn.
I don't know.
So all you're saying is that someone needs to steal that pedal, and you're now reinventing yourself.
Yeah, I have to start all over pretty much.
Oh, no. That's
Jesus.
terrible.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
jeez.
def you
All right, let's get into your top 5 biggest guilty pleasure artists.
I think we might have
So
mentioned this one last time, but Creed,
oh,
Creed.
that's
So
such a good
that's not
one.
only in your most influential, but it's also a
also a
guilty
guilty
pleasure?
pleasure.
That is a first,
Mm-hmm.
That
I think, right,
yeah,
Mason?
I can't imagine. I don't think there's ever been anybody who was like, "This is a band that's also influential and is a guilty pleasure," but it
Mm-hmm.
is. I mean, at least in the scene of music that we're in, I think more people like Creed than they are willing to admit, and so I think they are
Yeah,
probably the quintessential example of a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. And I
yeah,
get why. Like he can, like Scott Stapp's voice can be a little much sometimes. I think
yeah, and a little bit cheesy songwriting
yeah,
sometimes even,
yeah.
you know?
I mean, I get it,
Yeah.
but
But that guitar
That
work,
dude
yes.
can shred.
I don't know anyone who's a guitarist and says he's bad or that he's
No.
overrated, or
And he hasn't
everyone says he's
aged at
underrated.
all.
Not a bit, just
He
like
looks
yourself.
exactly the same. Oh, I've aged. I got some gray hair under here.
Dude, I was watching a music video of yours from 15 years ago, and I was like, "Yeah, not at all. No change there whatsoever."
Appreciate it.
Maybe it's just because you're wearing a hat. I don't know. Maybe you're bald back there, but
I'm not bald.
I
It's
suspect you're
getting
not.
crazy. My hair is a little wild right
Is
now.
it? You have thick hair, don't
Yeah, I
you?
got thick hair. But
Yeah, full head.
what's
full hair.
terrible is where I'm at in Florida, we have such hard water that it's like messed my hair up. It's like damaged it. So I'm in the process of now getting like a whole home softener system.
Oh man, and you got to deal
Dude,
with
I
them
literally
salts
look
all
like
the time.
Beetlejuice. Like if I shower and wash my hair, I'll look like Beetlejuice when I come out. It's just everywhere. It's insane.
What a fun time. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I know.
First world problems.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so Creed, number one guilty pleasure artist.
Creed.
What are your other
Yep.
four?
Let's see. Let me think about this one. What's the dude's name? I'm blanking right now.
Steve Scrooge Chapman?
No. God, what is the most famous dude?
Toby
the
Mac.
British
That's
dude.
that Toby Mac, right?
No, like the
famous
most
British
famous
dude?
British dude right now.
Freddie Mercury.
No, not
Oh,
that. No.
King
Younger
Charles.
dude was in the boy band.
Harry Styles?
Boy George.
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. That makes sense. He's got some
love
tunes
Harry
that I'm like,
Styles.
I kind of dig as well.
Watermelon Sugar or whatever.
Yeah, that
That
was okay,
album.
but there's another
That
one.
album is good.
What's that other song that is all over the place? Something Times or something.
I don't know.
I can't remember the name of the album.
I don't know any
the
of the
song.
names of songs or albums or anything. But that album,
He knows how to create a good earworm of a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very talented.
Yeah.
And the girl,
He is.
I mean, the
He
girl
is.
swoon over him too.
Yeah, I know.
I think he's losing his charm though. I don't
Is
know.
he?
Yeah.
You get married or what? That's usually the way that boy bands lose
No,
their charm.
it's not. It's not that. Like,
What if
I
they're
don't know,
off the
like,
market?
So I teach.
Yeah,
I
right.
teach high schoolers, and all of them hate Harry Styles.
Really?
now.
Really? What did he do
Whereas
something?
2 years ago, they were like all about him. No, I don't know. I'm not up to date enough. I
I guess
guess
you'll have to
but
figure that out. That's interesting. Well, I
Yeah,
think Harry Styles.
mystery.
That's a great other choice though. That definitely guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a perfect guilty pleasure. I'd say.
Jackson 5.
Oh,
Michael Jackson in general.
Hell
just-
yeah,
yeah, Michael
You
Jackson.
got that ABC just
Yeah.
rolling, huh?
Dude.
Damn.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? I don't pick you as a Jackson 5 guy at all.
I mean, I grew up idolizing Michael Jackson, like trying to moonwalk, like in my kitchen, when I was
Makes
a kid and
sense.
everything. And
Did you
I
ever
watched,
figure it out?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can moonwalk.
You can still moonwalk?
I can still moonwalk. I used to moonwalk on stage sometimes if I felt like it. I'd be like, yeah.
I was gonna say, can you do it while playing
yeah,
guitar?
man.
Okay,
haven't
well,
done it in a long time,
now
but I might pull it
in
out.
3 weeks, Cullen and I will be expecting a moonwalk.
All right. I'm
Yeah.
going to do it.
And we also want the lean with the hat. You
No,
know,
I'm not doing
that
that.
he does. I'll put a nail in the stage if you want me to.
Yes.
I'll
Dude, I was
figure it
so
out.
bummed. Like when I found out he wasn't just doing that.
Yeah. But it still takes a ton of
Yeah, I
core
know.
strength to be able to hold yourself up
Yeah.
at that angle.
Oh, yeah.
It's magical though. Yeah, you're right.
Great pick though. Michael Jackson, Jackson 5.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
dig it.
Good
One
one.
the same.
All right, 2 more.
2 more. I honestly don't like this band much, but I like one of their songs. Maroon 5. One of their songs.
Oh, that's a great one.
What song?
Yeah.
She Will Be Loved.
Oh,
Interesting. That is like right up the same alley as Mason's
Yeah,
it is.
Train.
total vibe. Yeah,
It is.
totally same vibe.
And now most of the songs I don't like of theirs, but I like that song.
I didn't mind their first record too much. It's a little creepy at times, but in terms of like actual songwriting, it's not
No,
bad.
it's not bad.
Just
I feel like
lyrics
they've
are
kind of
still
like fallen
terrible,
off the cliff. I couldn't tell you the last like top like hit from Maroon 5 in the last 10 years, right? Like
Yeah.
They haven't
I
had a
think they
top
just
hit in a long
stopped
time.
since he was on The Voice or whatever.
Adam
Oh.
Levine's just he's not very good at texting either, so that kind of ruined him, I think.
Wait, what happened
If
with
y'all
his
remember
texting?
that fiasco.
Oh,
I don't know. He was like,
wasn't he like
was, like,
wasn't his like
texting-
sexting like really cheesy?
Yeah,
came out like
and,
a couple years
really,
ago.
like
That's right. Yeah.
gosh, I gotta look it up again what some of those were because they were
They were
crazy.
really
Yeah.
And they weren't his wife. So that,
Oh,
that kind of messed things
that's
up for
part
him.
of it.
So yeah.
Okay, one more.
All right, let me think of one more. I mean, I like a lot of country.
Really?
Oh, I love country.
Man.
Yeah.
What era of country are you into?
90s.
Oh, 90s.
Yeah.
Good.
90s
All right.
country.
All right.
Like some Alan
That's acceptable.
Jackson, Brooks and Dunn,
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
Nice. Do you have a specific that you want to include in your
Shania Twain.
guilty pleasures?
Dude, I love some Shania Twain.
Who doesn't love Shania?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll just make it Brooks and Dunn.
Okay.
Brooks and Dunn.
Yep.
Are they the ones that do Red Dirt Road?
Yes.
That song rips. I don't care what anyone
Dude, they have
says.
so many songs that rip.
They do have so many songs, but that song Neon
Yeah.
Moon, that song rips. I don't care what anyone says.
Mhm.
You know, there is a whole
Mason, can you name one Brooks and Dunn song other than the ones I just named?
me.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't name any. I'm sure I recognize a bunch of them, but I couldn't name any of them.
All right.
I mean, growing up in
My
South
Maria.
Dakota, like you get to know, or like I'm sure I've heard many Brooks and Dunn songs on the radio, but none that I would be like, oh my god, that's a Brooks and Dunn song. Like I don't care
Yeah.
enough about them to know.
Right.
My whole family is country fans, and when I was a kid, they made us go to, or they didn't make us. They drug my ass to a country music festival called We Fest in Minnesota.
They drugged it,
And-
meaning they put something in your drink, or they like
They dragged me there. I think it's drugged me there, didn't they? Or did they drag
dragged
me there?
they dragged me there.
Dragged?
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever it is. I'm not here about semantics. You're usually the one that fucks that up. But it was the worst time of my life. I was so bored.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Who played?
except for when Montgomery Gentry played.
Oh,
Montgomery Gentry ripped and roared up there, man.
put
That
on a
was
show.
great. They were fun to
Yeah.
watch. Yeah. Everyone else, I was like, this sucks.
Well, country's coming back now, like with Post Malone doing his thing. Like,
That's
Yeah,
true.
what's
Dude,
that?
Post
What's that
Malone
one guy
can play
that
any
just
music.
won like a Grammy that was like really had that like I forget what song it was. It's like super popular right now. It's like that kind of hip hop guy,
Beyonce?
and he's like super tatted.
Oh, Jelly Roll.
Yeah, that guy.
oh yeah, Jelly Roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, country's having like a big pop right now.
It is. And it's actually kind of getting decent again.
Yeah. It's starting.
Because there was a long time there, especially in the 20 teens, it was
I
Florida
know.
Georgia line.
real
Yeah.
bad. Yeah. And Luke Bryan,
Mhm.
all that stuff. So
Now, Florida Georgia
rough.
Line, I wish they would just say they're a pop band because they do have some
Yeah.
really catchy songs, you know? It's good songwriting,
Yeah.
but man, the country part of it kind of kills it for me.
Right.
Well, they lean so much into that redneck kind of
Yes.
look too,
Yeah.
that they just kind of have to be a country band,
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
even though they're not really one.
Yeah. It's a pop band.
Yeah, it 100% is. 100%.
Good pop songs.
I agree.
That's a good list. That is probably one of the best
It
guilty
is.
pleasure lists that we've got. Like, because sometimes like again like a lot of artists are like, oh, I don't feel guilty. Like, no, that's a great list. Like you definitely nailed each one of those. Those are
Yeah.
artists that you definitely should feel guilty for listening to.
Mhm.
But you love them, and that's okay.
Do love them.
And I think this might be the first time that like it was actually pretty easy for someone. Usually they're like, I don't know, I don't have another one, and then they'll say something like, I don't know, it's like some like opera singer from the 1940s, and everyone's like,
Ooh,
who the hell is that? That's not. You can't have a guilty pleasure that no one's heard of.
Yeah. I know. I mean,
I don't know.
there's so many more of them, but
I like it. I like it.
great list.
You're supposed to be guilty. That's good.
Exactly. Brandon, what do you want to plug? Obviously, upcoming show at Furnace Fest here in a few weeks. New music that we could be expecting sometime soon. But yeah, what do you want to
Yep.
plug about I Am Terrified?
let's see. We are going to be doing like a scuba tour, the
Scuba
submarine
tour.
submarine tour.
So you're playing in
What
a
the
submarine, or are
hell?
you playing like in scuba gear underwater?
Both scuba
Oh,
gear in a
I'm
submarine
Scuba
underwater.
Steve. Dude, that's amazing.
Yep, and we're just gonna
What
go
kind of submarine?
low.
Is it a yellow submarine?
Not a yellow submarine, unfortunately.
Is it one of those
Is it a Russian
billionaire
submarine?
submarines that like a bunch of people got lost and died?
It could be one of those. We're gonna test it
Are
out.
they giving you the Xbox controller?
We're just gonna see how low we can go before music doesn't sound as good anymore, and everything starts
Until there's not enough air where you can't even hear the
right.
music, maybe?
Yeah, those midtones are about to
Sick.
sound like low tones.
That's right.
And dude, it's gonna crush, I promise
Yeah.
you. That was a bad joke, I'm sorry.
Now,
I'm
did that
sorry.
thing
Mason
explode?
he had no
It
reaction
didn't
there.
explode, right? Didn't it just
No, it imploded.
implode? Yeah.
Yeah, imploded,
crushed.
and well, I think they probably all died before then because of
Yeah.
lack of oxygen.
More
But
than
then
likely.
obviously,
no
yeah,
more
it
oxygen.
had to have imploded because it, just you keep sinking.
The pressure. Yeah.
It's
Unless,
crazy that
unless
it
it's
doesn't
like built to where
explode,
it's
though.
able to hit to the bottom of the ocean without imploding. I don't know, but they definitely
Like
they
with
all
the,
die because of lack of oxygen.
like, is it fuel though? Is it like gasoline? How is it?
How does it implode?
I mean, if there's like gasoline on it, it seems like it would cause an explosion, like something flammable. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think there's gasoline on it. I think they use an electric motor, a small electric motor, because you don't need a whole lot of movement to actually
Sure.
go up and down. So
I don't know much
an
about
electric motor
submarines. I'm
would
just
work
gonna
probably pretty good.
get in one.
You're
I
just
don't
you're just
either.
getting into it and playing.
Yeah.
So who's putting this on? Is it James Cameron?
Nope. It's just us. We're
Wait, is
renting
this
it out.
the new
Just you?
Furnace Fest plan? Like, I know they said like they're kind of leaving it open for, new future.
Furnace
Obviously
Fest.
they're not going to do the festival in Birmingham anymore, but it sounds like maybe is this a Furnace Fest
Hey.
thing?
Could be. I'm not giving that secret away, but I have been in talks with some of the founders. So
Okay. All right, Chad Johnson.
yeah.
So I'm curious, who's captaining this watercraft? Is it Sean Connery?
No.
Denzel Washington?
No, it was just an old tour bus driver that we found who's no longer
Really?
working. Yeah.
You
I'm
guys,
sure
you
he
guys
knows a
had a
lot
big
about
enough band to
bugs.
have a bus driver yourselves?
Well, it was the
You
Chariots
guys
bus driver.
yourself weren't the bus drivers?
The Chariots bus driver from Warped Tour who got fired from his job. I hit him up. So now he's coming on with I Am Terrified Submarine Driver.
Well, hell yeah.
Was he the reason why you guys broke up on Warped Tour?
Yes. He was the reason.
Wow.
Damn.
He said we should break up. And we took his advice.
What was he just?
that
Did he
guy.
look like Gandalf, and you felt like you were obligated to listen to him, or what?
No, he said you'll never be as big as Nelly. So give it up. So we gave it up. That was it.
Fair enough. It's a good point. Hard to argue with that. Right?
Even if you wear Air Force Ones?
Even if we wear Air Force Ones. He said you'll never have the girls on the bus like Nelly did. So break up.
Oh
Fair
my
enough.
gosh. That sucks.
Mhm.
I mean, I get it though. He's probably right.
He didn't want to drive us around.
Yeah, screw him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sweet. Submarine tour, can't wait. What coast are you going to be on? Or is this going to be on land?
No, it's a world tour, actually.
World
Yep.
tour.
So you even going to the Indian Ocean?
Dang.
Yeah, going everywhere.
Dang.
Are you going to play for the Penguins in Antarctica?
If we can make it. It just depends on
I hope so.
the icebergs and
Yeah, I hear the Straits of Magellan are pretty treacherous, so be careful there.
pretty treacherous at this time of year.
Well, Brandon,
Sick,
we're
dude.
super excited for Furnace Fest, and obviously it sounds like a whole entire world tour around all the oceans of planet Earth. But yeah, super excited for all the new music that's gonna be coming out soon. Yeah, it's just all of the two tunes that have come out since just have been so good. So we're just excited for all the new music. So just have been so good. So we're 3 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.